This is The Scoop for Monday.
I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines. The Florida chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE, held its annual gala in Tampa last night, but the person who was supposed to be the keynote speaker didn't show up because he was detained by immigration officers in California. In the words of a release from CARE Florida, Sami Hamdi was abducted in San Francisco after becoming a target of Laura Loomer's hateful Islamophobic campaign. The release from CARE called Hamdi a fearless voice who has never been afraid to speak truth to power. A statement from CARE's national office calls Hamdi a British Muslim journalist and political commentator and says he was detained apparently because of his criticism of Israel's genocide in Gaza. A report from USA Today shows high levels of forever chemicals in the water in and around West Central Florida. WMNF's Chris Young reports these PFAS break down slowly and can build up in people, animals, and the environment over time.
The report shows PFAS levels 6 times over the federal limit at the University of South Florida and 4.3 times over the limit in Newport Richey. Dr. Marie Bourgeois is a professor and toxicologist at the University of South Florida. She says research suggests negative effects on humans, but more testing needs to be done.
We need to fund the research that will actually let us determine how big a hazard this has the potential to be to human health.
However, Bourgeois says limits are set extremely low to protect the most vulnerable members of the population.
So simply being exposed to 6 times as much does not necessarily mean they're in 6 times the amount of danger or they're likely to suffer 6 times the amount of effects.
This May, the Environmental Protection Agency worked to roll back its own limits on certain PFAS chemicals in water. Chris Young, WMNF News.
President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela says the U.S. is fabricating a war against him. It comes as the world's biggest warship approaches the South American country. Maduro said in a national broadcast Friday the administration of President Trump is fabricating a new eternal war as aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford moves closer to Venezuela. A left-wing independent has won Ireland's presidential election in a landslide victory against her centre-right rival. Catherine Connolly secured the backing of Ireland's left-leaning parties, including Sinn Féin. Official results showed strong voter support for Connolly as president, which is largely ceremonial role in Ireland. She won 63% of first preference votes compared to 29% of her rival from a centre-right party. Connolly will be Ireland's 10th president and 3rd woman to hold the post. Immigration concerns have been making national headlines as tension at the border grows and immigration laws frequently change. WMNF's Leah Burdick reports the group Onward and Empowered of Florida held a public forum in St. Pete this month to discuss solutions.
The Dignity Act is a bipartisan immigration proposal to help improve the immigration system. Maluska Zavala-Moore is an immigration attorney. She says fixing the asylum process in the U.S. is critical.
It needs to change because, let's face it, they need to know what's going on with their lives. They need to know if they're going to be granted asylum, and they need to plan for their own lives.
Moore says asylum seekers need a system that does not take years to come to a solution. She says there are 5 key components to the proposed bill: securing the border and restoring law and order, fixing the asylum system, giving dignity to undocumented immigrants, dignity for American workers, and unleashing American prosperity and competitiveness. If it passes, it will also provide a pathway to legal status for people already living here. For WMNF News, I'm Leah Burdick in St. Petersburg.
Hurricane Melissa has intensified to a Category 5 storm as it nears Jamaica. The U.S. National Hurricane Center reports that Melissa is expected to make landfall on the island tomorrow, bringing destructive winds and up to 30 inches of rain. The hurricane is the strongest to hit Jamaica in recent history. It has already caused fatalities in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Authorities warn of catastrophic flash flooding and landslides. Melissa is forecast to move across Cuba and the Bahamas through Wednesday, with significant storm surges and rainfall expected in the region. It'll be mostly sunny and warm today with highs in the high 80s, partly cloudy tonight with a slight chance of a rain shower, overnight lows in the low 70s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, highs in the mid 80s. I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop. Recorded at WMNF Tampa.